Hello, hello. My name is Heather Aston, and this is my channel, TT's Trinkets and Treasures. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. I hope you enjoy it and think it is educational, informative, and entertaining enough to want to subscribe to my channel and change the notifications to all so you don't miss another one of my videos. If you are a returning video, thank you very much. I appreciate your continued support. And with that, you guys, I may not still be doing this or not. So thank you very much. Okay. Right now, I am in the midst of a 28-day challenge where I make a piece of men's jewelry for 4 weeks leading up till Father's Day. So 28 days, 28 new designs. I am trying very diligently not to repeat concepts or not to repeat the same design, just switching out like one bead or something. I'm doing my best. Now, it's still difficult because, but today we are going to work on wire wrapping. And I met the loveliest young woman at Bernie's today. I believe she said her name was Kat. If I'm incorrect, I have Durkheim's and have memory recall issues. So please don't take it personally. I enjoyed every minute I spent with you today. It was invigorating. Now, she was anxiously awaiting this video, and I said that it would be up 23 minutes ago. But when I got home, I found that the video had no sound to it. And I don't know why or what happened, but it happened. So I quickly had to make up more links so that I could do this, cut more copper, all of that. But at least you'll get to see a variation when it comes to the design aspect of it because I had to do so. All right. She was the sweetest. Bernie pulled out the most beautiful labradorite. And she went kind of back and forth. And I'm like, well, if she doesn't want it, I want it. And she was like, no, I want it. But I want to split it with you. So that's what we did. It was fun. But let's go down the mat so I can show you what I'm rambling on about. Okay, so this is the bracelet that she saw. I made this, every bit of it, from start to finish using copper wire. And that's it, and my tools. So what were my tools? My double flush cutters. If you have not seen these, the difference between these and regular flush cutters is the regular flush cutter, you have one side of the cut that is flush, while the other comes up to a point like a teepee, like this. With the double flush cutters, you get straight on both sides. Now, if you are just starting out, am I telling you that you need to go spring for another tool right now? Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. Memory wire cutters are also double flush cutters. So instead of running out and getting the Zeron one, if you're just starting out and trying to figure out which tools it is that you need, sorry, I need to scooch this over a little bit. There we go. I would say that you are using memory wire, I would say that the memory wire cutters are good enough. Now, would I ever use my double flush cutters to cut memory wire? No, I've not done so yet. I do need to get another pair because I tried to cut something with this that I should in the first place, and they don't seem to be I don't know if sharp's the right word. I just used to be able to cut jump rings with them and all that kind of stuff, and I'm having more trouble doing that. So, as I was saying, I pulled out some 20 gauge copper wire and created this bracelet that I made for my husband. Samantha Latimer has done these links. Oh my gosh. Linda from Gumnut has done these links. There's a few people that have done these links. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just showing it to you as a design. And I am going to show you a couple of variations, give you the measurements needed in order to make the links, to make some jump rings, and we'll go from there. So this is the initial one. And these are all the same. I used 18 gauge wire. Each one takes 8 inches, give or take a little, to make. And then I also made the jump rings, and why this one only has one on it right now, I don't know, but I will fix that. But I also made the jump rings, and when I connected them together, I did so with 2 jump rings, so to give it a little bit more stability. Now, if you wanted this to be the strongest it possibly could be, I would encourage you to wrap the loops and join as you go. Therefore, the loop that you are entering into is closed and wrapped versus using round jump rings. Not that these are going to pull apart. Like, I'm pulling and they're not going anywhere. But if you wanted them to be like strong enough to hold you, I guess, I don't know, then that's the way that you can do it. You would just connect them directly rather than with jump rings. So, the other difference is in the last length, I made the last loop bigger so that it would be easier to get this hook in, which is very strong, but makes it easier to get it in there. If you don't want a larger loop right there, you can always remove it. If you don't want your own hook, go ahead and buy a clasp of your choosing. That's the best part of making your own jewelry, is that you get to decide all of those on your own rather than having to walk in and see if you like everything about a specific design. Okay, so the variations we're going to do are, this first one is, I have some larger whole turquoise heishis, and I put 2 of them in between 2 buffalo horn heishi beads as well, and I like the way that looks. Then the other variation we're going to do is going to be this one, which is all buffalo horn beads. There are 2, 4, or 5 millimeter rounds. I can't remember which one these are. And buffalo horn heishi beads. I do my hybrid link. That's not a wrap loop, but it's also not a simple loop, which I will explain in a moment. And I am looking forward to putting that bracelet together. But I do see this as kind of like some of my other videos. This is the least expensive. This is the middle expense. And then obviously the one with real turquoise is the most expensive. So you have essentially the same design, but broken up in 3 different ways and 3 different price points. I will tell you this. The difference in price between this link and one of these links is not very much, because the buffalo horn beads are so inexpensive that I'm doing 2 layers of copper wrapping right here. So the price per inch of the copper is very slightly cheaper than putting heishis on it where I did not double wrap it, which I will go over all of these things as we get into the video. I also want to tell you that there will be a couple of instances where I have waste. And I'm the last one who wants to waste any materials, especially if you're just starting out. But I will explain one thing. It is better that I have a little bit more and cut it off at the end than to not have enough, have to start over again, and now I have wasted all of the original material rather than wasting an inch at the end of the wire. So, I just want to explain that so you understand why. That's the reason a lot of content creators will say that they'd rather have more. That they'd rather have more and not need it than not enough. So, all right. let's get to this. So first, for the basic link, I'm going to show you. This is 18 gauges. This is 18 gauge bare copper wire. This is an 8-inch length. I'm going to come down. Let me get all this out of the way so we're not confusing the camera. Okay, I'm going to come down about 2.5 inches, right about there, and I'm going to make a 90-degree bend with my wire. I will then grab my 6-step bail making pliers. FYI, bead on with the blue handles are the best. Some other bail making pliers, what'll happen is right here, it'll be the proper diameter, but it gets slightly bigger as it goes to the end, thereby sometimes making it hard to pull the coils off of these. So that's the first. Second is, if you do not have these and it's not within your means to go out and purchase them, but maybe you have knitting needles or crochet hooks, it's the exact same thing. The barrel of a crochet hook is the size of the crochet hook itself. So if it says 2.75 millimeters, that's the diameter of the loop you're going to get. The inside diameter of the loop you're going to get, not the outside. You're going to have to account for that depending upon what size wire you're using. But that's another thing. You can also use a pen. There's a whole multitude of things you can use, but the easiest one that I know most of us have are some type of crochet hooks, knitting needles, or different variations. You can also get wooden dowels that are the different ones, although those are a little bit hard to keep wrapping wire on, especially if you're using a thicker gauge like 18 gauge. Okay, with all of that being said, we're going to grab our 6-step bail making pliers and we're going to wrap around the second step of the pliers. I'm sorry if that is blurry. Second step of the pliers. Now, with anything else, I typically start my loops straight up and down with the pliers facing me. In this instance, I like to rest the smaller of the barrels right inside that little concavity and then go up, over, and down. We're going to rotate it a quarter of a turn so now it's facing the mat, and then we're going to pull this back. And the only thing that I did or accomplished with that one little variation is that I find I consistently get round loops when I do it that way. Otherwise, I often have to rock my loop back, thereby getting some of the straight wire here into the round of the loop. You can also, while you have your barrel or your piece of wire on your barrel, you can grab a pair of pliers and pull. Just be careful, because if you grip this too tightly, you will weaken and break your wire with your round nose pliers. So be careful with that. Now, the other variation, you can either grab 2 pieces or grab a pair of pliers and wrap this around by hand, or you can grab a pair of pliers, turn it, go to a second pair of pliers and wrap it around. Either way is fine, dependent on my pain level on any given day, usually dictates which way we do this. So with this, we are going to go around a total of 6 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and if you start to see this little gap right here, you want to correct that sooner rather than later. Okay, so we're at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, I'm coming to the end of my wire and I still need to wrap back around. So I'm going to take my other pliers and I am going to make short little bites. When I say bites, because it's like nom nom nom, like you're eating. But I cannot believe I just did that. Anyways, that's why. But short, quick, little rocks, little bites help you maintain control of the wire rather than have it bend out at an angle. This is the same thing that I recommend. Now I moved my pliers. I'm lost where I was. And I'm going to come up because I like to cut the wire on the side or right where if I was wrapping this around up here, I would hit here. So I find that shows less than cutting on the back end or front. And when I put a flat bead, like a heishi bead, up against it, it lays more uniformly rather than have it dip where one side is up higher than the other. Now that I've done that, I want to point the cut side away from me. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to bend this straight out. Now, if I were to take my 6-step veil making pliers and come and hold this right here, my loop is going to be all the way back here. Whereas if I do it as I don't put this completely at 90 degrees, oops, I want you to be able to see. It's not quite at 90 degrees anymore. If my camera will focus. There we go. It allows me to wrap around it and get a more uniform loop. I am going to go ahead and grab my pliers and give it a tug to make sure that it's nice and tight so that when I start wrapping around where I'm not having to like go over the same area. Again, if you need your pliers to do this part, go for it. My elbow's been bugging me the last 2 days, and so when I was making links in preparation for this video, I kind of went back and forth between I would typically do the first wrapping with it, like that. If you are going to use your pliers, I want to show you just a quick little tip. I have found that instead of grasping the wire down at the end, if I grasp it closer to where I'm wrapping, I have more control over where my wraps go than if I am holding down at the bottom. Again, you don't want to squeeze too hard. I know that I could anneal my wire. I think that's the right word. But I've tried and I can't figure it out. I have tried to melt the ends of copper wire to make my own oh my gosh, Heather, talk. My own, the little ball head pins, we can't get it to melt enough to do that. The best I've done is the wire got a little bit softer. That was all. So I'm going to go ahead and go around one more time. But if you see those two coils are not right on top of each other, so I'm going to adjust that. The sooner you make adjustments on stuff like that, guys, the less problems you're going to have. So all I'm going to do is pull this back around to the back side one last time. I'm then going to cut it. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to tuck that in so that there is no way that that's scratching anybody, because you have it tucked in and thereby it is not going to be flush with your skin. So you're good to go there. Except for my loop got a little misshapen for some reason. There we go. Most little things can be repaired very quickly if you catch them early. So I want to show you this one more time, and then I will go to the smaller loops. I will show you how to make jump rings, and we will assemble these bracelets. So again, 8 inches of wire. You're gonna come about 2.5 inches down, and you're gonna make a bend. And then I like to straighten my wire at that point in time. Sorry, there are words on those pliers and it's causing issues. Alrighty, then I'm going to take my bail making pliers. I'm also very close up. And I'm going to go up, over, down, rotate my pliers a quarter turn, pull this from behind. This one I didn't get quite as crisp of a loop as I would like, so I'm going to grab my pliers and just pull it tight to make the loop that I want. You can also afterwards take your oh my gosh, I know the word, the different sizes here, and put it to whatever size your loop is and twist it around like this once you are done to repair your loop if it's not round. Just a little tip. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this just like I did the other one. There's 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. Got a little away from me. So it went up over the last layer. So we're going to come back down here. And this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got to go back around one more time for the 6th time. We're going to come up, around, and behind, push it up until when I cut it off, it will be on the side of your loops. You can also fix your loop there as well. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut the wire flush, making sure I don't let that go flying as I have on other videos and been corrected. I know it's dangerous. I know I should be doing it. Again, we're going to face the cut part away from us. And we're just going to bend this down. We don't want to go at a complete 90-degree angle. Otherwise, there is no room for my first step to get right in there. Okay, I'm trying to show you. Do you see how that's not flat? I feel like I'm not giving you a good picture of what's going on. So, do you see how this is kind of pointed up? It's that way. Maybe if I turn it this way, you can see. Okay, do you see how it's not straight? That allows me to wrap up, over, and down, rotate my pliers, and pull it out. This is what I tried to avoid by doing that. Do you see how that loop is completely off center? So now I've got to rock it this way. Luckily that it wasn't so bad that this part of the loop is straight, but it still isn't ideal. And then I have to pull my arm down flat because we want these to be right on top of each other. Then we're just going to start the wrapping just like before. We're just going to go around a second time. Now, if you like a messy knot or a messy coil, you do you, girl. You do you. That is all personal preference. I've gone through phases where I've done it both ways. Sometimes I'm all about it, about keeping it nice, precise, and so that it's like perfect. And then I go through periods where I'm like, yeah, I don't care. It's fine. I'm just going to say it's messy and boho, and we will be good with that. So it doesn't matter. When I show you guys how to do the jump rings later, I really do want you guys to know that this is a big enough scrap to get me at least 2 step 2 jump rings. So when I'm finished with my project, I go back and I coil up all of my pieces, as is evident by all of these teeny tiny coils that are on this side of my mat that I will be cutting into jump rings later. So just to put everybody's mind at ease that I'm not wasting materials, I just wanted to show you that. Also, guys, I don't want you guys to ever think that mine come out perfect every time or anytime, because I don't feel like they do. Now, speaking of the young woman that I met earlier, she is newer to jewelry, and she is immensely talented. Immensely talented, guys. Like, had Bernie in awe looking at it. She's very talented. So, she has a natural gift that needs to be nurtured, and that can't be done if you are too hard on yourself or set yourself at expectations that are unattainable. She already far surpasses me as far as doing the wire weaving. Her pieces are beautiful. I have always struggled with that. So that's why I love jewelry, is because there are all these different niches, and so there's always room for everybody. Now, getting back to the links. As I said, these ones I did with, I hope you can see them, 2 buffalo horn rounds and a buffalo horn heishi, which I think looks amazing. I think the contrast of colors, as well as the difference between the round and the heishis, because I did one where, which of course now, because the camera is on, I do not see it, where I just did 3 heishis, and I did a couple of different sizes too. And because it was, oh my goodness, these jump rings are just everywhere and it's driving me nuts. I'm sorry. Completely forgot what I was just saying because of this jump ring situation. Doesn't matter, you can clean it up later. All to say that you guys don't set yourself at standards that are unattainable, and give yourself time. Nothing comes to people like that, even those that are naturally talented, like this young woman. But I digress. Let's get back to it, because she literally asked me what time I was going to release it and said she'd still be up. So I feel bad. Earlier, when I was talking about the links, I said that I use my, this is so low. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. As you can see, you weren't even seeing half of my mat where it was at before, and I will come up closer when need be, but it was just too much. So for the in-between links, I used 3 to 4 inches of wire for these as well. But as I said earlier, I used my hybrid link. And when I say hybrid, it's just the same as you would think of like an electric car that can also have gas in it. It's much like that, as it's not a fully wrapped loop, but it's also not a simple loop. And I have found that it is much stronger than a simple loop, though not as strong as a fully wrapped loop. So all you're going to do is come up and you're going to bend it at an angle to make your first loop. You're going to put your barrel right there. You're going to go up, over, down, turn your pliers once, and then pull that straight down. Now, this is what I do that I call my hybrid link. And that is, all I do is grab my pliers and I take this wire right here and I bring it all the way back around just till it hugs the beginning of that curve right there. Once it hits that, I go in and I cut the side of it, tuck in any end that may be protruding out, and then I go on and I add my beads to it. So you can see it's not a simple loop. Like if I tried to open it, it's not going to open because I wrapped it around the back, keeping it from being able to do so. I feel like I put that up too high. Sorry, I will try to do better and try to get it fixed before my next video. Anyway, so this just makes it stronger than the simple loop. And I have like tested it. I've had Steve test it. It is much stronger. Even if you are connecting to each other, they're both very strong. And even with pliers, were difficult to like get them to open. So then we're just going to add our beads in whichever pattern we want to. If you wanted to go with the, oh, here's the one with the 3 Heishu beads. That's what I was talking about when I interrupted myself. Okay, the reason I didn't like the straight Heishi beads is because they were similar to this, but not this. So it just looked weird. Whereas when I did it this way, it's just a different animal altogether. I do have thinner ones that I could test out that I did not before, but I want to see how many it would take to get it. Oh, they're not in there. They're in their little milk jar. Let me see how many I can stack up here to get it closer. See, now you guys know why I've been off camera so many times lately. Okay, so to stack these like the other ones to mimic the wrapped look, that is 6. The size difference isn't that different. Okay, I'm going to take one of these off. I'm going to make a second one and see how I like it. This is why I have what I call bead FOMO. I feel like if I don't test every possibility, try every bead, I'm going to miss the best option. And that would just be tragic. When there's no reason I can't just discover that later. That one's not quite round. I'm going to grab my pliers and just pull it tight. So now it is round. Then I'm just, like I said before, you don't even have to use pliers. You can use your hand. I'm going to hold on to my loop. And I'm going to pull it back around and stop just as it's hitting where this loop begins. Then we're going to go in. We're going to cut, making sure that we cut it flush. And then we're going to tuck that in. I'm going to make one more of these because now this might be my favorite. You're going to be surprised. I like the turquoise, but I like the look of this with the copper together. So I'm going to do one more. Sorry, my hands are dirty. I've been using bare copper wire, and that happens when you use natural materials that come from the earth. Okay. It's late, y'all, and I've made a lot of these links, so my hands are a little tired. So my loops are not as round as I would like them to be. Again, we're just going to pull that back around and up until it hits the bend. Do you see? Right there. I don't want it to be further back like this because then it's not as like this because then it's not as secure. So I like it to be a quick but tight, like transition one from another. Again, I'm going to go in, I'm going to cut it flush without sending the wire flying. And by the way, I am in no way saying that I do not understand what the people in the comments were trying to do. They were trying to be protective, not critical. And I just want to let you know that I hear you. I appreciate it. I do need to be better about protecting myself. Okay, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and put 5 more of the thinner Heishi beads on, which I already have out right here. 1. No, are these the thin ones? I can't tell if the first one is or not. 1, 2. Sometimes they get mixed up in my box because I will mistake the 6mm for the 5mm, and so then they get a little mixed up. These are all from the little jar. So, and if it's going to drive you crazy that there are 6 coils but 5 beads, by all means, put the 6th one on there. Go right ahead. Okay, we're going to bend that down. Come in here, go up, around, over, and down, and then, of course, pull it to the side. Bring the arm down. Make sure you got a good loop. And then, while I already have my pliers in my hand, I'm just going to bring it around and over. And then I will make my cut, tuck the end, and we will attach these together to see if I have a new favorite with this design. I do worry about putting this in a tumbler, though. I need to do a test link so that I can see if these hold up. The buffalo horn beads hold up. They are buffalo horn beads after all, horns, so they should. But, okay. So then to connect these, all we're going to do is to use some 18 gauge jump rings that I made using the second step of my pliers. And when I put it on with only one jump ring, I did not like the look of it, and I can show that to you momentarily. No, we're alternating with this, not just with the turquoise. Though you could do it with the turquoise. Woo! I told you my hands are tired. In case you didn't notice, I also got my haircut today. Funnily enough, at Bernie's shop. His ex-wife meets us there. And she shaves Steve's head and trims his beard and cuts my hair. So, see, I like it, but I should have showed you the difference with one, which I will on the other side. But I want to get these put together, and then I want to put the other together and see if there's a new favorite. So, put the other one with the hay shoes on. And you guys, I've got the tightest closure on a jump ring with these handmade jump rings. I use Samantha Latimer's, not Susan, Samantha Latimer's technique. I like how she does it. Okay, guys, so can you see the difference between one jump ring and two? The one alone looks a little puny to me. So it doesn't match the scale and size of the link. So that's when I added a second one to kind of beef it up a little bit, since I am doing a double wrap. Now, when you are adding a second jump ring, you want to be careful because you do not want to crisscross with this one. So you're going to go up through one. I always hold it flat and then bend it up so that I can get the other one on without misshapening it in any way, or, jumping my pliers like I just did. Okay, guys. Okay, so there's that one. Let's connect the other one, and then I will show you how to make jump rings. And being able to make your own come in handy when you're using different wire, because even different lots of the same company's wires will have a different color to it. So if you can make your own jump rings and or metal components, then you are guaranteed that they're going to match, right? And I would like to say that all copper wire is equal, but it is not. And funnily enough, outside of like the scientific, I think it's like scientific instruments or something, their wire, which they have very nice wire. The wire, dang it, you guys, I am just the wire. I caused that to misshapen. The wire I'm using today, which Steven picked up for me specifically so that I could do this video, we get it from Home Depot. And this wire is for plumbers and it's 18 gauge wire. And it, I don't know why this next part surprises me, but it's the cleanest copper wire I've ever had. Copper wire I've got from anywhere else, I've got to wipe down or my hands are completely black. I know that they're black now, but this is nothing compared to what they would look like if I was using other copper wire. Now, why a plumber needs to have cleaner copper wire than, say, us craft people, I have no idea. But I will show you the brand in just a minute. I have only found it at our local Home Depot in 18 gauge. But if you go on their website, you can find it. You can also find, it's called Ook copper wire. You can find it on Amazon. And again, I'm misshapen that. It wasn't together. And I saw it and I went ahead and did it anyways. And I'm going to throw that away so I didn't pick it up and try to use it later and get frustrated like I just did. So the opening were really far apart from each other. And I saw it and was like, oh, it'll be okay. It wasn't. It wasn't at all. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. And then I'll do the same thing with the turquoise. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is going to close nicely before I try to actually use it. Yes, it will close. Okay, so we're just gonna go through this hoop, have this out straight so I know I'm going next to and not behind the other one. Let it come drop down to a point like that and put the ends together until they're even. And then you have 2 that are next to each other and not fighting for space. Okay, so far we have the Heshies, and I'll drop it back down a little bit. Hold on just a second. I'm going to drop it down just a touch. Okay, I think that's a happy medium between being too close and too far. All right. So here are the options we have laid out for us right now. Let's throw some turquoise into the mix real quick. See which one we like the best. And then I'll show you how to make jump rings. So I'm just going to grab one of the turquoise. And by the way, I got to gush on my hubby a little bit more. I know I did the, in the morning, the other morning, yesterday, when it wasn't our anniversary. And yes, today's our anniversary. And I'm in here putting together this video because my husband is amazing. And we are mostly celebrating while we're in California, visiting our daughter and our granddaughter and our son-in-law. So I'm not like trying not to celebrate with him. It's not that at all. We have plans to do so when we're in Cali. Well, he has plans. I have no idea what he planned, but he has plans for when we're in California, apparently, that my daughter helped him with. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but I like surprises, so I'm not gonna cry too much. I also need to do the unboxing for my dollar bead box for June. So, okay, that was a perfect example of what not to do when attaching a second um, jump ring through the same loop that another one was there. I completely crisscrossed them because I wasn't paying attention and I was just off camera again. Okay, so here are our options. Obviously, I don't have enough links made up, at least I don't think so, to complete all three of these bracelets. Especially not if I want to teach you guys how to make your own jumper. Yeah, we have enough to complete one of the three. So, and I'm a little stuck between these two. So I think I'm going to have Vanna White come in and take a look real quick. I might have to use a couple of wasn't entirely happy with it videos to get caught up with my elbow. It's killing me. Give your opinion. Recording. I wanted to walk in and say something he'd be embarrassed by later. So, I don't know which one I like the best. This one, I will finish all three of the options. I just don't know which one I like best and which one I want to finish right now. I'm going to put the other jump ring in this side so he can get a fair representation of what the finished product will look like should I continue those. If he doesn't take forever. I hope he didn't fall asleep. He may have fallen asleep. I can't decide, you guys. I was a little surprised that this won me over more than the turquoise. I think had the turquoise been more blue, I would have liked it better. Speaking of turquoise, I think next Wednesday's sale, we are going to focus on turquoise and a very good faux line that he has because he has amazing faux turquoise strands that are gorgeous and not as expensive as his amazing turquoise strands. But you guys said that you really liked how, like with the mother of pearl, we had the more commercial grade, as he puts it, and then the A plus grade of it. You guys said that you liked having both options. So we're going to do that again. And we figured that we would do it with turquoise because when Steven was looking through his turquoise bins to find me some large hold for this project, he came across a bag of turquoise donuts. So if we can get the price right, then we will likely be doing that. But I do have to show you these guys. We were kind of arguing over what exactly they were. They're saying that they're just blue opal. I think they look much like my blue boulder opal that I have, though this is pretty. I think in order to not have to get more of the opals, because the strand was not cheap even with 2 broken beads on it, I think that you could use either blue boulder opal as a stand-in and or blue lace agate would go very well with these. I think that these are going to be really nice earring sets, and I'm going to make a phone call to one of my followers because she had hoped I'd be able to get more silver silver lace jasper that I sent out with um the first live sale orders, and I couldn't. I only had one left and they would have all been 3 different sizes. So I'm going to take a picture of these. I'm going to send her a picture. Maria, I got you, girl. If she wants like a set in order to make um a necklace and earrings, because I think that's what she was wanting to do for her sister-in-law, I will give her the option. Okay, guys, I think he passed out. So I think I'm going to go ahead and finish. I like them all. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the middle one because I think that looks the most like that, although I love this one too. And I will take pictures of all 3 and post them. And like always, guys, if there's something that I make that you would like to purchase, please reach out. I would love to like help you with that. Help you, help me, help you, help me. You know, one of those situations. I get you the beads you like. I get my bank account is happy, and it's a win-win for all. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show you how to do jump rings. Like I said, even these small amounts that are left over at the end of any large project, if I see that it will make 2 on this step, then I go ahead and make 2. Otherwise, I make them on the next mandrel down, or maybe and I put the wire going the wrong way. I should have had it out, but this is indeed enough to get just barely get me to jump rings. Okay, I will fuss with that afterwards. I need to show you guys how to make it with a real length of wire. So those are both cut at exactly the right length for more. Oh, this is the brand. It's called Ook. It's 25 feet of copper wire. It is not cheap. Like buying a pound of it, you get like 300 feet, and this is only 25 feet. And I think it's like 6 something. So obviously you can find it cheaper, but if you're in a pinch and or want to do this and Amazon can't get you it as fast, send the hubby to Home Depot, grab that. All right. So oh no, we're doing jump rings. So I'm going to grab a length of wire, and typically I like to work off the spool. That way I reduce the amount of waste I have. I will then go in and look at my hands, guys, and put it to where I do not feel the wire sticking out. And then I start to rotate. You always want the cut end going outwards. That way you can keep going like until it's all the way out here from your pliers. Whereas if this is on the inside, you're stuck at the length of the barrel. And even if you pull it off at that point and turn it around, it's never as precise as when I just do it the right way the first time. And that is one thing. I know I sound like a hypocrite, but that is one thing I will say. There is a correct way to do it, especially if you're trying to minimize waste. And then I'm just gonna continue, and I put this down all the way towards the end and curve it around with like slow, easy motions like that. Thereby, I now have a very nice coil compared to this side, which is sticking out a bit. So we know that this end is flush cut. So we're going to turn our pliers and we're going to cut the next round of wire with the flush cutters facing you. You're going to cut it, let it drop. You're going to flip your pliers. You're only going to cut off that little bit at the end that comes to a point. Once you've done that and you have a flush cut again, flip your pliers around and cut the next coil. Oops. Sometimes when I'm trying not to get the next one, I mess up the one I'm doing. And then you're just going to keep going around your coil as long as you're not Heather at 10:20 at night trying to finish up a tutorial real quick. Oh, look, I even end up with almost a perfect one. Let me see that one. I might need to, like, can I curve it around a little bit more so that it's not sticking straight up? Because that would be ideal. Okay. I think those two are going to line up just nicely. But let's get back to this. Okay, I think that I'm going to go ahead and I lied. I'm going to put this one together because I already have the links made. So rather than make a bunch of new links instead of just piecing this together so that we can get to the end of this video, I can go and create a thumbnail and get it uploaded. We're going to go that route. So all you're going to continue doing is literally opening jump rings and attaching them. That is not a plier I want to use for that. And then I will show you how to make a handmade clasp so that everything is truly handmade for the person you intended for or a future customer. And like I said, you just want to be careful when you're doing the second jump ring that you, here, let me put that plier down for a hot second so I can show you this again. So all I want to do, there we go, is hold it the way that it would be up straight like that. Just drop my jump ring. Come on, Heather. It's getting light if you can't tell. Okay, again, holding it straight to make sure I don't crisscross my jump rings. I'm going to go through and then just let that fall. Then you're going to come in and close your jump rings. And there you go. And you're just going to keep attaching this as you go along. Now, you guys, I know that I'm not like an expert teacher. I'm very new to this YouTube world and how everything works and whatever else. So please know that if I ever make a mistake, you can kindly tell me because I would like to know. With that being said, I know I'm a little behind on the comments. I will catch up now that I'm no longer subbing for Andy. I will get those caught up. Also, we passed 400 subscribers. So when we get to 500, we will be doing the giveaway, at which time I will also do the initial giveaway that I should have done when we hit 250 subscribers. Things in my life were, see, I crossed them. You see how I did that? So that's what you're trying to avoid. The top of this bead is on this side and the bottom of our jumping knot bead is on this side. So I have to open that back up. I'm kind of glad it happened because I have learned more from people's mistakes sometimes than I did from the technique that they were trying to teach me. Please don't say it just jumped again. No, it didn't. So there it goes. And so that's another reason other than my recall issue, like my memory recall issues with my Dergham's disease. That's another reason I like to leave my mistakes in there. I also have a recommendation that I'm going to take myself. I'm going to go and purchase myself one. I am going to get some type of scrapbook journal with like plain like unlined pages, whatever. And I want to start taking a picture of and writing down some of the details, as in like, oh, I use, come on, as in, oh, that's why this is one that was made with the smaller barrel. I was like, why is there not enough room? I don't know how that got mixed in. I put them up. Now I don't know what I was talking about before that. Goodness. Things were very chaotic in my life, and so I didn't get it. But now I get to do it twice at one time. And what that is that for 250 subscribers, one winner goes home with 250 beads. 500, somebody gets 500 beads. At 750, somebody gets 750 beads. And then when I hit 1,000 subscribers, one person will get 1,000 beads and 10 other will get 100 beads. So, and if it sounds like a lot of beads, you guys, like Steve was like, really, you're gonna give that many beads away? You guys, if I give you one strand of hematite spacers that are all the flat little one, there's almost 200 beads on one of those strands alone. That is not my intention to do so. I want to give you some variation, but don't fret. It's not going to break my bank account, and it is a small token of my appreciation for you guys showing up for me, for leaving me kind comments. All of that, you guys, has meant the world to me. I'm so happy to get to know each and every one of you. Those, in case you're new, there is also a Facebook group. It is called Beading Besties. While I do a show on Sundays called Beading Besties, and that I started the Facebook group, it is not owned by any one person. It belongs to the community at large. The whole point, dang it, Heather. The whole point of Beading Besties were for those people who are physically disabled, and sometimes just the thought of getting ready to go out is enough to turn down an invitation, whichever. I want you guys to be able to have a community to go to. There is already a group chat for each state and one for U.S. territories that people can go to and to connect with people that are close to them, set up in-person and or virtual beading sessions where you get together, you talk, you chat, you bounce ideas off of each other, you get to know each other, and you feel that much less alone. So, with that being said, anybody can start their own group chat within the group, so that if you have friends that are not all in the same state but want to have a virtual bead sesh, feel free to do so. You are allowed to do so. No one person is in charge of moderating. The group itself really moderates itself because the members will bring something to the admin team's attention if it needs to be addressed. And yes, I said an admin team. There are 5 of us that are all moderating the group. My high school best friend, Mindy Devereaux, Cindy West, my local girl who helps me out in more ways. And I don't think I'll ever be able to tell her how thankful I am for her, for all she does for me. Beth Ballou and Becky Foster. I believe that's everybody. If I forgot somebody, I apologize. It was not intentional. But I think that's 5. Me, Mindy, Cindy, Beth, and Becky. I believe that's everybody. So we all like go through and take care of membership requests, which, by the way, fill out. You have to answer all of the questions, and we have the questions where you have to actually type out a response. And we do that in order to continue to cultivate a safe place for you to come share your art without worry of having scammers. I actually need to measure this. Oh, my elbow hurts and I don't know why. Oh, goodness. I could have stopped a long time ago. Alrighty then. Okay, hold on. I think if I just take this one off, we will be good. I think if I take this one off, we will be able to still end. I will make a small clasp real quick. I forgot to make an end link with the bigger loop, but the 2-step loop is big enough. So if I need a little bit more room after I set it up, then I can always do so by redoing or just making another one, but keeping this one for another project. I don't know why I closed this. Jump right on there. Okay. Anyways, I am going to grab, if you want to do the clasp like this one, all you have to do is when you're doing the second loop, just use one of the larger steps to do so. It makes it easier to tuck in. Now I'm going to help you guys make a clasp or a hook real quick with less than 2 inches worth of wire, but I'm still going to cut that much just to make things easier on myself. Then I'm going to use my first step of my bail making pliers to make a simple loop. And if I wanted to, I could create this. Should I just do that? You know what? Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to make my little hybrid like link. I will attach it and then finish wrapping it around the other. What are you doing? My brain is not working right now, you guys. Why can I not figure out what I'm trying to do right here? This should still be on the mandrel. I don't know what just happened. My brain went just short circuited for some reason, and I'm not for sure why. And now I'm doing this as if I was left handed, which I most certainly am not. Okay, if you wanted to connect one of the links that are a hybrid, you're just going to go ahead and open up. Where did it go? Open up the loop, and we're going to attach it to this side. Since this side ends, you then close up the loop. You take your pliers across, especially if you have the little bead needle on micro ones. And then you're just, nope, don't do that. That's not at all what I want you to do. I have this at a weird angle and I don't know why. So see, I told you guys, I will never claim to be an expert because we all have moments like this. And thank goodness I'm going to be able to put this in the polisher because I most certainly marred my leather or my copper and it will need to be fixed, but it's okay. Then I'm going to turn this and all I'm going to do is create a hook the size that I want. Since I did not make this separate, I'm going to make a smaller hook just to make sure that it goes in as easily as possible. So I'm going to do so using the third step of my bell making pliers. I'm going to come up slightly, but not much from where that loop is. And I'm just going to rotate the hook down. Okay, now that we're at this point, all I'm going to do is cut this just slightly longer than where this loop ends. And I know right now it kind of looks like a very thick earring wire, but it won't remain that. Now, if you're not going to put this in a tumbler or whatever else, you could file this now just to make sure that there's less of a chance that it's going to hurt whoever you're making this for. But if you tuck the loop well enough, you won't need to do such a thing. So I'm going to take my Beadsmith micro round nose pliers. I'm going to roll it up. I have a little bit more of a straight edge than I want, so I'm going to trim that. And it did not go flying, I promise. It was right there. I'm going to tuck this up. And then once it gets to about this far, I'm going to go ahead and tuck it in using my pliers like so. And then we're going to straighten the hook and shaping it back so that it looks more like a hook rather than it's just laying out. You can kick this back a little bit so that it has a nicer loop. I wish I had done it on the first step of my pliers. Oh, I will fix it later. When I don't have people waiting for this video to come out. Oh, no, I'm going to redo it. Can't do it. Thought I could. Can't do it. I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't know why I have such a hard time letting stuff like that just fall by the wayside, but I do. So we're going to go ahead and do this for a second time. Oh, really, Heather, you forgot that you were doing the one loop-de-loop. I'm going to cut it up there. I'm going to bend it down because I still have enough to do the loop and still make my hook with the hybrid loop. See, my hands are just tired. I'm at the end of my day and I was cutting and wrapping loops all over the place today. Okay, so I'm going to kick this open and I'm going to slide it on to one of the end pieces right here. There's a jump ring in the other end. So to make it easy, I'm just going to come in here. Now you're not going to have as much room to loop this around and hold on to the loop. It is possible though. Just be careful because you don't want to mar your loop right here or the one at the end of it. So just try to get in there the best you can and just pull this back down and around if I can get the wire. Oh, okay. You just stay there for a minute. And I'm just going to try to get it tucked up, right up against where the loop started when we originally. I'm going to try to hold on to this one more time just so I can have a good handle on it and tuck this. And once I trim off the excess, we can get back to finishing this bracelet. Okie dokie. So we have our little hybrid loop. Again, we're going to go and we're going to use the third step. So right here. And I'm just going to bend it down into a little hook. I'm going to trim the end about where the loop starts, like right there, because we are going to turn this up. Though you could just as easily leave it like this, maybe give yourself a little kick right here, and you would have a very nice hook. And you would be done faster on nights like this. But I gotta open this up a little bit in order to get in there to make my loop. So I'm just gonna get it to as close to the end of the pliers as I can without it sliding off the end of the wire. Oh, okay, come on, Heather. Why are you having such a hard time right now with this? Okay, there we go. I got it up. I'm going to scooch that down to the end right there. I'm going to tuck it all the way in. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other one. I'm going to do a little kickback, just like to make it more question mark shaped. Then you're going to push it down where you want it to be, because obviously you don't want the clasp to be that opened or it will slide off very easily. Now, you can pull out your bench block and your hammer to work hard in this and to flatten or give it decoration, but I'm all about being as efficient with my time as I can, and that's a lot of steps I don't want to do. So instead, I'm going to use this box joint right there to do my work hardening. I'm just going to squeeze. I'm not going to squeeze hard, just enough to kind of get that metal a little bit stronger. Plus, it will also create texture on your hook. So I'm going to squeeze it one way and then I'm going to flip it the other way. Go around it again. And I'll try to pull it up as close as I can get it so that you can see what I mean by how it looks and stuff. And because we squish this little loop, it did come apart a little bit. So we're just going to squeeze it back in. And then we're going to create a nice little hook. I am going to want to like tweak this wrap right here because this is driving me crazy. Oh, there we go. Much better. Okay. And then all you have to do is clasp this directly onto the last loop, especially if you remember to make the end loop bigger. It works out great. But there you go. I think that this is a nice man's bracelet. You can use any variation of beads. You can only wrap it 4 times, 3 times, 10 times if you're doing a necklace. And you can do it with 20 gauge, 22 gauge. I don't know, I'd go much smaller than that unless you're making like itty bitty links to make an entire chain with, which you've got some commitment if you're doing that, at least in my book. But I really enjoyed making this bracelet. I really enjoyed meeting, I think her name is Kat. I hope I'm not wrong. She was a very lovely young woman and she made me laugh. And I loved seeing her excitement over the different beads and showing her the different pieces that I've made. So it was so much fun to meet her. If anybody has any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out. But I think I'm going to let you guys all go. I hope you had a good night. I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, leave me a comment. all of the above. Maybe share a video if you know other people in your life that have the same interests, or would just appreciate. Sorry, I just knocked my charger off the side of my desk. That would appreciate the video and or possibly want to purchase one of my pieces. That would be great too. But I digress. All this to say that I appreciate you spending your time with me. I know that there are many, many, many choices of who to watch on which streaming capabilities. So I appreciate that you chose to spend some of your time with me. It means a lot, and I appreciate each and every one of you. You are a blessing in my life. So, as always, everybody, have a great night and happy beading.